Hey there.
Hi, everyone. Okay. Hi, everyone. How you doing?
Happening. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday or Tuesday. I don't know what day
Yeah,
it is.
what day is the week? Is it really?
Pretty much
Yeah.
they're all the same. Yeah.
How are things?
Things are good, man. Things
Good.
are very good. Yeah, I cannot complain. I'm really focusing on my energy on what I can do for others right now.
Yeah.
And there's plenty to do for other people
Yeah.
right now.
Yep.
But still, I'm going out into the garage right after this meeting, and I have been threatening to do this for many years. And I think I'm going to finally do it and get my little garage studio back up to where it needs to be. So,
Really?
Yep. Yep.
Very nice.
We put a new garage door on, so when it closes, even if there's a dust storm outside, nothing gets in.
Okay.
And I bought a little air conditioner. The garage is, I think it's 600 square feet, and the air conditioner will do 1,200 square feet.
Oh, good.
So it should cool it off for the summertime,
Perfect.
and we'll see.
Yeah. That's
We'll see.
good. That's good. Good. Good.
It's not as nice as your studio.
But really, I mean, ideally, like when my wife and we've kind of been looking for houses, although everything's on hold now that everybody's 401ks are tanking. But ideally, like it's been good that I've had to downsize because I'm like, okay, this is basically just like an extended garage. Like it's just a big rectangle.
Yeah.
So like if we could find a house that has like a 2-car garage or like a slightly larger garage, or even a piece of land where basically I could just build a big 4 walls on a floor, like that'd be great. So it's been nice. Like having the larger studio was great, and I could fit all my crap inside it. But when it really comes down to it, you don't really need that big of a space, especially if you're doing portraits or headshots.
Right. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that big.
Well, people shooters need more space. That's true. I remember going into Gary Purwheeler's studio in New York, many years ago, late 70s, I think. And it was like 820 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
This guy was one of the biggest still life shooters on the planet at the time. And 820 square feet is all he needed. I mean, he had props and, everything. But I love your wall with all the pictures and stuff on it. I think it's very cool.
I try to this because it's more person to person. When people come in, I try to make them feel instantly relaxed. Like they come in and I try to populate the display wall with pictures of people that they might have seen within the city. Like this girl right here, she writes for the local newspaper. And this guy over here he owns about 4 restaurants right off Main Street. So people that they come in and they're like, oh, that's Michael Buckley. I know who that is. So it gives them sort of a sense of like, oh, like he's kind of been around for a little while and he's shooting people that I recognize. So maybe I want him to shoot me.
Great way to get people comfortable is to surround them with things that they know.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Well, I thought we would talk a little bit about what folks are doing, because I think we talked a little bit about this last time, but when the shit hits the fan and we all start looking at our contributions to the world, if the world is a sinking ship and it comes to me, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a photographer. It's like,
right.
I think you better swim, pal, because we don't need any of those people. I mean, we just don't need them. I feel like I'm unneeded and not helping. So I'm trying to figure out what to do. And my Project 52 class, and I kind of came up with an idea of, I can't help now, but I can help when it's over. So I'm contacting 6 small businesses around me that I know are going to stay in business, but they're going to be really hurting when they come out of it. And I'm saying to them, hey, I'm your guy. You need a website? I'm going to build you a website. You need some product shots? I'm going to do that for you. one little mom and pop store down here has never had an online presence. And they shared with me that they always thought it was too expensive to do it. Well, I build websites with Divi. I can build a store site with Divi in about 3 hours. So I'm going to build them a store site.
Nice.
I'm going to do that right away. They've got photographs. They're going to email me the photographs. I'm going to get them a little store site and get them up so they're at least working towards making some money while their brick and mortar is closed.
Right. Right.
So our work comes after the nurses and the cops. I'm reading in New York City, some of the cops and paramedics are sleeping in their car so they won't potentially expose their family.
Yeah. I just read a really interesting article. People are taking their campers and their RVs that are just sitting in their yards, and they're like, this one guy drove 2.5 hours. He towed his giant camper and he plopped it in the yard of a guy that is an essential RN working at the hospital. And he's just like, okay, instead of you like going through this crazy process of taking your clothes off when you get home, and then you're going through a certain pattern to go to your shower so that you can shower off and not infect your kids, just use my camper. Like, use it as long as you need it. You're still in your your house vicinity. You're just outside. You're more comfortable, you're more relaxed, and it's a whole like Facebook group that is starting to just temporarily donate their campers to people in need that are like trying to save lives every day. So I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah And I don't have a camper I can offer.
No.
So I have to
but
look
I think even just keeping people in, just helping them relax, just helping them, like anything you can do. I took last week I was mentioning, my wife is just busting her butt with coordinating all this stuff. So I thought it would be nice. She got up, she's up at like 7:30 every morning. She's instantly on the computer. She's instantly on the phone trying to coordinate all this stuff. So I just took a couple of pictures of her hard at work. And then I just made like a little, a little post on Facebook. And I'm just like, not that I'm trying to get her recognition, but I just wanted to thank her for everything that she's doing. Like, she's kicking ass at this and she's helping,
I just don't want my granddaughter to sit down on my knee one day and say, "So Papa, what did you do during the virus?" And me say, "I bought a really cool lens with the government money."
Right.
I just somehow don't feel that's quite good enough.
Right.
I stimulated the economy, honey. That's what I did. I bought a lens. No, we're all kind of hunkered down, and I feel safe. I mean, I do. My daughter works out, but she does exactly what you're saying. She comes in through the garage, takes her clothes off in there, puts on a robe, takes her clothes and puts them right into the washer, starts them up, goes and takes her shower, grabs her fresh towel that we have sitting there for her, goes and takes her shower, comes back, throws her robe and towel in and starts the laundry. So, much as we can do. I'm not gonna, they've offered to let her have the time off, but I'm not, she says, "Dad, I'll take the time off if you want me to." But I said, "Honey, I think, you're 23. I think you need to decide that."
Yeah.
We're okay. As long as you're very careful, we're okay. We'll get through it. So we got a good group of people here.
Look at all these people.
I was wondering what any of you are planning to do in this challenging situation. Does any of you have any plans for the near future or when this thing is over? Anyone?
Everybody speak up. What's going on?
There's a bunch of music.
Just
how many of you guys really love
portfolio building?
How many of you guys really love the status of not essential?
Right.
Oh, dang. And we thought we were. What's that?
Except look at how important the arts are. Which,
right.
Before
Yeah,
it was all like, oh, art, music, drama, we can just cut all that. That doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
And now suddenly everyone's like, oh, I'm so bored.
Yeah.
Well, some of us are not saying we can cut that. Some of us are.
But I hope
have you guys heard of
lasting
Steam?
Impression. I'm sorry?
Have you heard of Steam?
Steam.
The video game
No,
thing?
no.
Yeah.
STEAM
It's
is, you know, in the schools they have STEM.
No, science
Oh,
technology.
yeah, yeah.
Ah,
Science
okay,
tech, right?
okay.
Well,
Sure.
I'm part of a group that we're pushing STEAM. And the A is for the arts.
Yeah.
I think it should be absolutely essential that a kid studies art or music or creative writing or photography, anything, but they've got to have an art. The science bears it out. How many great photographers do we know who are also great musicians?
Mm-hmm.
Ansel Adams was concert level pianist. Paul Strand was concert level pianist. I could go on and on and on. There's
What was
so
it?
many.
Kenny Rogers just died, didn't he? He was a really good photographer as
Very
well,
good
wasn't he?
photographer. Very good photographer. Yes.
I told my wife the other day, after everybody becoming stay-at-home parents and homeschooling, that it'll be probably really easy to get a school levy passed now.
There's so many powerful things in the arts, and I'm just having a blast. Alex, did you see that link I put up to the Rest Is Noise website? He's listing all the free concerts
Oh,
that are
cool.
moving online.
Nice.
And
I'll have
just
to send you the link to my husband's opera. They've been posting, I think they just posted La Boheme that they did a few years ago.
yeah, I love that. That's great. There's jazz quartets that are meeting and that are playing or playing their music. I just saw the Phoenix Children's Choir. They did a whole
Cool.
They did 6 songs. They did them from their homes with microphones on their computer. And it was
Do you know
brilliant.
how incredibly hard that is to do?
I can't even imagine. In my wildest dreams, I can't even imagine.
Did you see the Toronto Symphonies? I think they did Simple Gifts like that.
Oh, did they really?
It's really, really well done though. It's really cool.
It's just fascinating. Fascinating. I'm going to share a few things with you guys, and we have, let's see. Let's go backwards here. I'm going to share my screen. If any of you on here are new or watching this video and you don't know that this is here, we have a free tabletop photography workshop, 1 assignment per week with critique and everything here at Lighting Essentials. We're on the 2nd week, power tools or tools, lots and lots here. Doug Menuez, if you don't know Doug Menuez, is a wonderful, great photographer, documentary photographer. He's got a free little interview with him up on Instagram. And wow, this is great. I mean, it's really, really good. Doug Menuez is an outstanding, I've been following him for years, since we both didn't look so old. Here's Adobe. Yeah, Julian Koss has an Adobe hour free tutorial here. And it's a really good one, and it's free for the next 24 hours. So if you're feeling like you need a little bit, Nikon School Online has this. If you own a Fuji and you sign up for it, it will destroy your computer. It's a funny little thing. It just wipes the drive clean. It's really, but anyway, can't imagine what they would teach you in a Nikon school that wouldn't be apropos to any other photography school other than, you know, maybe some little thing that Nikon does. And this, I love this. This is Anjali Fong. I'm patiently awaiting to hear Anjali's work that you see here in front of you. Anjali's work was, she just got notice yesterday morning that she's in the finals for communication arts. For the communication arts photography thing. So they said, and we'll let you know tomorrow. And I'm like, why would you do that? That's like the cruelest thing in the whole world. So sleep well tonight. What? Are you kidding? But Anjali, when she did this, she did a book, 200 portraits in her county. Took her a year and a half to do it for their county 200-year as an American county thing, whatever you would call it. It was a neat time in the county history. So she shot these people. So now she's going up and she's reminding people that these are shops. These are places, you know, go there, buy online if you can, buy a gift certificate for a free cup of coffee later if you can. So she's, you know, she's doing this, trying to help right now with people. So if you have a blog that you get a lot of people, why don't you link over to Anjali's blog and start, you know, maybe you have somebody on your blog that's in this county. But we can all help in different ways. We really can. I just don't want us to lose hope and to lose our own connectedness to the humanity of this situation. Travis, how you doing?
I'm over busy, actually. I forgot about this today, so I anticipated or trying to be a little more prepared. But
That's
I mean,
okay.
I guess
You're
over busy is better than
That's
under busy,
great.
I suppose.
What's going on?
Well, again, the magazine I work for, we're kind of scrambling to figure out how to, like our printer I believe is in Illinois or Indiana, may have basically just gone under. I'm not sure. So we're trying to really retool and figure out how to hit the ground running on a more digital platform. So I'm kind of learning, getting back into InDesign and learning some digital print solution sort of stuff, digital print suite. I can't remember, digital publishing suite, I think they call it.
Mm-hmm.
And doing some tutorial stuff on that. And then,
Are you thinking about print on demand?
It's a little bit like this. The magazine's always been, it's really high quality, but they're adamant about it being free. But that, I mean, that is an option. We're still sort of like going through all the motions of figuring everything out.
Sure.
And I work with a photographer. Like, again, I do a lot of retouching, and when I'm not shooting, I'm retouching for other shooters or companies. And there's a guy in town, Michael Weintraub. I'll post the link to his website. I
know his work. Yes.
Oh yeah. So I'm working with him. He's doing a second book on Instrument Head. He's doing like a behind the scenes Instrument Head thing that is, I'm doing all the retouching for. And let me tell you, there's a whole lot of images. It's a lot of work.
Well, that's great. And it's great to hear you working.
Yeah. It's good to be working. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Alex, you want to share a little bit of your adventure? Because we know you have had kind of a close touch of this virus.
Oh, who, me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, we just had it really mildly, I think. I mean, we weren't tested, so I have no idea if it was, but it kind of, I'm pretty sure it was. It fitted all the symptoms, to be honest. The three of us got it. Started getting symptoms about 2 days after the isolation period started, and it took about 2 weeks before we were feeling better, really. So yeah, we just kind of stayed in.
Yeah.
Didn't infect anybody else, at least. So
absolutely.
So,
Is anyone else here? Is anyone else dealing with the disease? Have friends or family or such?
My friend of mine's parents or his dad and his stepmom are dealing with it now, but I think they're doing okay. They've got it's symptoms like the flu that is, I mean, the flu sucks at baseline. So yeah. But I think like they're not hospitalized or anything. So
I'm buying stock in masks, and I'm not kidding. I think masks are going to be a way of life for
a while now.
Quite a while.
Yeah, I don't know where we can get them though, to be honest. There's the pharmacies are all sold out. There's going to be
so many companies wanting to make them now because the demand is going to be quite high.
Sure.
It is.
Yeah, and now they're showing us that the masks can actually help. Not necessarily you getting it. I mean, if you're in the store and the meat guy sneezes on you and you're wearing a mask, not going to help much. But it can help a little in that they were saying the amount of exposure seems to be a factor in how sick you get.
Poison's in the dose.
Yes, yes. And so if this keeps out 90%, that would be great. The thing it stops is if I have it, I don't give it to you. I can sneeze inside my mask and it doesn't come out of the mask. It just stays within me. That's one of the reasons why Japan did not close. Did y'all know that? Japan did not close. Didn't close any industry, didn't close any shop.
Wow.
They're doing fine.
That's amazing.
Because they live in masks all the time because of the pollution and everything. Same with South Korea, same with Malaysia. The big cities, they're not getting hit so hard because they live in the masks. And I got to tell you, I don't like getting I don't want this thing at all, but I don't like
No, it's
flu.
weird. It's actually not that much like the flu, to be honest. It's like it goes straight to your chest.
Yeah,
it's really strange.
Right, it's a breathing problem.
Yes. Yeah, it's like having a kettlebell on your chest or something.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I don't like having any of that. So I'm thinking come next flu season, I'm going to be wearing masks if I go out. And I'm going to avoid large crowds for that flu season. And I'm probably going to get a flu shot. If they have a vaccine for this thing, next time
should be mandatory.
I'm getting it. I'm getting the vaccine.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't usually do flu vaccines. If you guys haven't seen Sofang's work, by the way, it's just beautiful. She had a book, really thick book at Blurb, and she sold out. She sold all of her books.
Oh, good.
She made enough money to give each one of the people in the book, give them a book, and sell a book to cover the price of giving them a book. So she had a couple of sponsors, and she did a little bit better than break even. So what a great thing. I think I'm just hoping they put her in communication arts because it's just fantastic.
It's a massive amount of work, isn't it? It's amazing.
She'll tell you that she thought it was going to be a lot of work when she started. It was about 3 times more work than she even expected it to be. I can't imagine. She did a great job. What else is going on? Who wants to share a little bit with us? We got James and Carla. Carla, tell us what's going on down in South Africa way.
Not much. We're also in lockdown, complete lockdown. Luckily I've got a few shoots that I'm doing. And besides that, just my whole family's here, or my 2 kids are both home, obviously. So it's actually quite busy, and not boredom and all of that hasn't set in yet.
Yeah.
Our restaurant's completely closed. We can't sell anything, no takeaways, nothing, which is quite a financial hit, especially since we've got 43 staff.
Have they given you an idea for when you may open?
Well, the lockdown is for 3 weeks. We've done a week already. But there's speculation that it's not going to be 3 weeks, that it's going to be extended for at least another 3 weeks. But nothing's been said by government yet, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I've got a couple of photo shoots. I finished one. I've got 2 more, which I'm busy with. So I'm keeping busy, which is good. Yeah.
Good. You don't want to come out of this thing. You don't ever want to be bored.
No, I'm not bored, and I can't believe that people are actually getting bored. There's so much to do, even when you can't do what you normally do.
There's always something. There's always something to learn. Always.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I was on YouTube for 2 hours. I had to one of the classes. They had something in the shot and they wanted to change the color of it. And just like fog, my brain went, I don't remember how to do that. And I've done it a billion times. So I went online on YouTube after the class, and I was doing one thing that I should have done the other way, and it would have worked. But I just had, because I don't do that very often anymore, I'd forgotten it. Now I know 5 different ways.
I was gonna say there's at least 1,000 ways in everything in Photoshop.
Yep, I got 5 good ones that make sense to me, and I just couldn't believe I was struggling with that. I'm like, uh-oh, I'm looking like an idiot here. So yeah, there's always something to learn, and Travis is a Photoshop expert. I mean, if you're doing retouching, you know a lot about Photoshop, and I bet there's still stuff you can learn.
Yeah, 100% all the time.
Good.
I mean, I was trained in New York at pretty decent advertising agencies and just retouching agencies, and we even every new issue that comes out, we'd have to sort of give each other tips and tricks and stuff. And I still have to remember, like, there's still tricks I knew from back then. They're so dialed in, like the idea of making a 4-color black and white image, there's like a science behind it. It's not like you can just desaturate the image if you want, but like it's probably going to print a little shifted. When you deal with ink, it's like a whole different thing.
Yeah. As a designer, I loved calling 4-color black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely loved it.
I had a quick question for Travis on the retouching. The projects that you're working on for retouching, do you find that you're typically more charging like a day rate or per image or like a package rate?
It depends on the client. I usually deal with it's hourly for a lot of e-com stuff. It'll be a whole package rate. Like Weintraub, we just work things out because it's a gigantic amount of images, and the budget for normally would be kind of crazy. So we do a lot of bartering, kind of back and forth. He's got a large format printer and connections with framing guys and a studio that he kindly lets me use pretty much whenever I need to. So there's a lot of bartering in that side. There's it really just depends on the client. I always like to deal with people like, what budget do you have, and let's see what we can do within it, as opposed to, because I'll scare people off, New York, LA prices outside of Nashville prices are,
and I think a lot of photographers forget that a lot of small businessmen forget you can't set prices in stone. It doesn't work. You got to find ways to work around with people and get the jobs, because having a longer relationship with the client is better than making just a little bit of money right now, and then they find somebody else that will work with them. Sid, are you on Unsplash?
No, that's that free.
Free
it's
thing?
like free based.
Yeah.
I don't like. All I shoot is really people.
Yeah.
So
I
don't. It's too specific. Yeah, and I don't. I don't shoot enough landscapes and stuff to be able to just kind of put stuff up. So I've never really. I mean, it's too. I'm shooting individuals that they're going to be using their images for stuff. So, and I'd rather not. Even think about trying to put their pictures up on something free where suddenly they start showing up
and the
on
problem is
t-shirts and stuff that they didn't expect. I was just like,
the licensing that Unsplash uses, they can use it for anything, and you don't want to have somebody
they can do anything
shot for a headshot all of a sudden appear on a punk rock album cover.
Right.
That could be problematic for you.
Don't want to upset the client.
I do a lot of environmentals and stuff, and I do put it up on Unsplash. I'm one of the 1,000 most downloaded photographers and one of the 1,000 most viewed photographers, which gets me absolutely not a single cent of anything. And I don't really care. I don't go up and check my stats every day to see how much stuff I'm giving away. I give it away at this point in my career. I give it away because if somebody can use it, I'm happy they can, because it's going to sit on a hard drive here. Papa's going to, pass on to the next great studio in the sky, and my kids are going to reformat the hard drives for kitty videos. Right. And I just as soon the pictures, have a life of their own kind of thing. So it's a little bit philosophical for me, but I do enjoy it. And I do think that that it's a way of giving back to that part of the community, the design part of the community that I was part of for so long. And I'm glad people use it. It's really fun when I was working with the publication for the deaf people. Deaf people have their own publication, and they print it and they make a PDF of it. And when I took over to do the redesign, the first one I pulled up had 3 of my shots from Unsplash used, 1 on the cover and 2 on the inside. And I was like, oh, this is a great shot. Where'd you get that? And she goes, oh, I got it at Unsplash. That's awesome. Have you ever thought of crediting the photographer? She goes, no. And I said, well, I would appreciate it. She now credits all the photography she uses in the magazine. So I made my point. Who else has any something to contribute? James Ellis, are you a full-time photographer, my friend? James? Maybe we don't have
AFK.
What's that?
James Ellis, come on down.
He may be in the indisposed. Stephanie, tell us what's going on down in the Great Valley.
Well,
or is it a great mountaintop?
I think we're in the valley.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still doing product photography and just working on writing, doing more stories, essays, reading, studying different, photography blogs, and just trying to put words with the photos and the process.
Yeah, we were talking about Heather Elder's talk that she gave a week ago. And one of the interesting thing is she said, you've got to add words to your websites. You've got to add words. I am a big believer in blogs. I think when photographers don't have a blog, they're missing an opportunity both for SEO and for getting continued readership. The problem is a lot of photographers did it with expectations of return on investment. So if I do a blog and I do a blog post every week, I'm going to get some jobs. Not necessarily. There's no return on investment other than you just keep on plugging and putting your work out there. And it was really a shame to see some very big name bloggers stop doing it because they felt they weren't getting anything from it. They were getting something from it. They just didn't know what it was. Can't measure it. So it becomes a little bit difficult. But one of the things that Heather does is she has for projects, her about pages for the photographers are amazing. And she does blog posts every week featuring photographers in her stable. She has 10, I think, in her stable, 10 photographers. And this is massive. Now, does it work? Would it work for us? I can honestly say, I don't know. It's Heather Elder. She's a big name. She gets into a lot of places because she's Heather Elder. So would that work if I said to you, hey, let's put a big blog on your website and you'll get into more places? I don't know. I can't imagine it would not help you. Or in other words, that it would be detrimental to what you do. Mm-hmm. But I certainly think that everybody should do it. Just don't focus on teaching photography. It's not your job. And I see it too often. Photographers create these blogs and it's like, how to get a perfect white background. Guess what? Your clients don't care. They just want to know you know how to do it. But everybody comes on with not everybody, but so many people come on with the David Hobby approach. I'm going to create this great big massive money-making thing by teaching photographers how to make white backgrounds. Doesn't happen. If you do that, you've lost your other business. You sacrifice the other business. It's very, very difficult to be a massive website or web guru and maintain a job.
I used to have. I used to try and maintain a blog posts, and it became another thing that I had to do, and it wasn't high enough on the blog that my priorities. Mm-hmm. But it was also I was trying to do process stuff, like because it's always fascinating to me, like not how you get a white background, but like I want to see I do a lot of conceptual photography where there's a lot of compositing and everything. So I want to see how you take things apart, or if you're getting a certain effect, like how you go about doing it, you know, especially since a lot of it is either going to be manual or it's not going to be just like use this filter and then mask it sort of thing. So I try to do a lot of that, even from sketch to completion. But good God, is it a lot of work.
It's involving.
Especially to me.
It is. It is.
It's super involving.
Travis, how many did you do?
I haven't done one for several years now, but when I was doing it well enough, I think I got probably about a year's worth in.
Okay.
Before, but of course they petered off after a little while.
Sure.
And then
let me.
I have a friend that does it on Patreon though, that does a fantastic job of that sort of thing, but and has monetized it. But he's also got it's Rob Sheridan. He does a lot of he used to be Nine Inch Nails art director, and now he does a lot of primarily like all of his own stuff. Wonderful photographer, super nice dude, but also has his hands in like 1,000 pies.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot to talk about.
You know, when I was younger, I always wanted to write a book. I always wanted to write a book, but I couldn't, because I couldn't even imagine sitting down and writing a book. How do you do that? Where do you find the time? And then it was explained to me that you don't worry about writing a book. You just worry about writing 1 page a day.
Mm-hmm.
You write 1 page a day. At the end of a year, you got a book. How fast did you want to write the book, Don? Oh, I wanted to write it in a weekend. No, that's not going to happen. It's going to take you a year.
Yeah.
So what I would say to you is, if you rethought this and you did one a week, one a week, in a half a year, or in a year, let's just say in a year, if you did one a week in a year, you've got a book.
Yeah.
And now that book gets created into a Kindle for $150. When I do Kindle books, I have somebody else do them, because it's just like, it's so tedious. I pay $150.
Learning that now. I'm literally like refreshing my memory on all that stuff now, and the different formats and. Yeah.
So then you have the ongoing blog thing, and now you have a book. You put the book up on Amazon, do a little bit of promotion for it now and then. It's really nice to wake up in the morning and get a little note from Amazon, say, you made $37 yesterday. You made $51 yesterday, whatever. Doesn't sound like a lot of money till the end of the month. And you go, holy crap, that's like a house payment. And you're not doing anything at that point. You've already done it. So multiple purposes for what we do can be something to think about in the back of your head. I mean, you're real world retoucher. You're not a YouTube guru. That carries a lot of weight, man.
I have to think back on it.
Yeah. So that's something to think about.
So do you keep one of those up anymore?
A blog?
Yeah.
I have been blogging since 1999 or something like that. I started on LiveJournal, and then I officially moved everything. I think 2010 was when I moved it officially over to my website. Yeah, I've got you, and I mix it. I do, usually I take like a week and a half and I just plow through a whole bunch of past shoots where I just go into a little bit of detail, like, he works for a local bank and he came to me because he's a friend of this person, and I try to make connections where I can. And then I'll also do, like I put the puppet stuff up there, and then I'll just, like if I saw a real good movie, I'll talk about that. And what I've noticed is, I've got, 20 something years worth of blog posts, but usually future clients, like when they're checking your website out, they start reading through the blog just to see, who you are and stuff. So I get a lot of people that come in for headshots and they're like, oh, I was on your blog and I saw that, you went to Storm King with your wife for a vacation, or, you saw this movie or something. So it's, to me, it helps relax the people before they even come in. Like they come in already feeling like they know me, because I've just shared. It's just part, like I just sort of lock it in as it's part of the thing that I've got to do. Like, even if I'm the only person that's going to read my own blog, it helps. It just helps get people to make them feel a little more comfortable around you.
And again,
and I over express everything too, because I'm just like oversharing everything. So sometimes they're just like,
Then you probably have a book or two already.
My wife keeps saying that like I should go through everything and try to maybe condense it a should bit and then form it in. I don't know. I don't even know what I've got in there anymore, and I should probably just sit down and take a look at it.
And WordPress has a as a plugin. So if someone goes to your page, your blog page, I've been blogging for at least as long as you have, if not sooner. I think I started with Blogger.
Yeah.
And I blogged every day for 5 years. I mean, I even got featured on Seth Godin's blog once.
Yeah. See.
Yeah, and it was really, really interesting. It's all marketing approached originally, but you have so much content then. We don't have to blog every day anymore. We're photographers, we're artists. If you blogged once a week,
yeah,
that would be plenty.
Yeah. Yeah. The way I do my setup is I do what I call major posts every other Friday. So I have twice a month, I've got like a big one where it's like, here's a former client, here's a former job, you know, here's something really important. And then on the off Fridays or just at random points, I'll do what I call mini posts where it's, you know, like if it's something I posted to Instagram and then I want to repost it on the blog and it's like, oh, here's a cool thing that I just did, check this out. Or here's a cool record that I just bought, like check that out. So I try to stagger it a little bit. So you get these kind of like light and fluffy kind of things. And then every 2 weeks you get a more substantial where it's like, you know, click through to get a little more in depth behind what we did. And that seems to balance it out pretty well. Like some, you know, a lot of people that just kind of like to skim through it and they like to scroll up and down and they'll see a couple of whimsy ones and stuff. And then if they want to dig in, you know, they've got a couple of deeper posts where they can kind of jump in a little bit more. And that seems to work.
It's really interesting if you have some sort of approach to it. I'm going to share this with you guys. I get an email from James Clear every Thursday. 3 ideas, 2 quotes, and 1 question. And James Clear has written a book called Atomic Habits, which is kind of just like the other habits book that I'm crazy about, Tiny Habits. Tiny Habits. He calls them atomic habits because they're tiny. They're the atomic. So 2 books on habits came out. One by the guy who teaches a course at Stanford in habits, and the other one by graduate assistant who worked under him at Stanford, James Clear. So I only bought one, but I may buy James's. But it's just like these little things. This newsletter, 3 ideas, 2 quotes, and 1 question, has grown in 6 months from 25 people to something like 35,000. And what does he do at the end? He pitches his book. I wonder how many books he sells. Yeah. When someone sends this on to someone else and they go, oh, this is really cool. This isn't too much. You know, I do a newsletter every week, and I try to approach the art and thinking of photography rather than here's how to light a turnip or something. My list is about 2,600. I normally have about 1,000 engagements, and that's, you know, I can't seem to move it past that number at all. But I'm not doing it to get
pretty good.
Thank you. I'm not doing it to get rich, and I'm not doing it to be famous or anything. I've never done any of this stuff to be famous. But it's really, really nice. I got 10 signups for Project 52 from my list of, that I created a list that said, if you're interested in Project 52, sign up here. And I opened up the signups 2 weeks early for the early birds, and I already signed up 10. So I've got half of my enrollment already from my newsletter list.
Good.
That's not bad.
No.
And I just wonder how I wonder how, Sid, you could use this, and Carla, Travis. I mean, this might be something to think. I mean, this is fairly fun and easy, you know.
When you send that stuff out, what are you using? Are you using like MailChimp or Constant
I use
Contact?
MailChimp. Yeah.
Use MailChimp?
Yep. You can get some beautiful email templates over at themeforest.net, and you can load that template into MailChimp. and you got a MailChimp. I mean, you got a beautiful, what looks like a custom-made killer email thing right there within MailChimp. So you're using all the MailChimp controls to drive this custom design. It's pretty well done. And MailChimp also gives me the ability to go on today and it'll say, hey, Don, last Saturday or last Sunday, you sent this email out, but only 37% opened it. Would you like to send it to the other people who didn't open it? So I go in and I change the headline and I send it to those people, and I'll pick up another 22 or 30%. So it gives me the opportunity to do it. And I can also say, who hasn't opened the newsletter in the last 6 months? They'll give me a list. I'll just get rid of them. If they're not going to open it, I don't want to waste their bandwidth.
Coming from a retail perspective, getting 15% or over is phenomenal. So
yes. Yeah. If I don't send one out, I'll invariably get 2 or 3 emails saying, "Are you okay?" Didn't get the email. They didn't get the thing, and that always makes me feel good. Like, well, I'm not writing for a dead space,
That's the hardest thing dealing with social media is if you're not on top of stupid Facebook pages every single day or every single, I've taken like a week and a half off where I need to decompress and stuff. And then I get emails that I'll make a new post and people are like, oh, you're still in business? And it's like, what? Like, give me some slack, back off, I'm trying to, oh my God, it's crazy.
And we've lost the interactivity.
Yeah.
Nobody posts comments anymore.
No.
I used to get on my blog posts, or even on my newsletter. So my newsletter, I'd get 5 or 6 emails back the same day. Hey, I really like what you said, or keep it coming, brother, or anything. Nothing now. Nothing.
Yeah.
Let me say it's rare when it happens. That's really interesting. And same thing with my blog. I don't get any comments on Lighting Essentials at all. And yet I look at my stats and I go, oh, shoot, I got a lot of people reading it. I do.
Yeah, somebody's seeing it. That's good.
A lot of people seeing it, but that's just something that has passed. I don't know how I feel about it because I never did it. I don't care if people comment on my stuff. I mean, if you're reading it, great. But I wonder if that's changed us somehow, that we have now sort of decided that we're entitled to this content. We don't have to give anything back for this content. It's free. I'll just take it and consume it.
Yeah.
And I don't even have to tell anybody thank you for it or anything like that. It's out there, so it's just free. Honestly, I would say I don't know if that's good or bad.
I wonder if it's that or if it's attention spans too, because we're used to Instagram, kind of just really parsing something really quickly and then moving on to the next bit if it doesn't really hold us in. And I'm super guilty of it. I have my Twitter, Instagram, everything. I have your bookmarks that you save. She's like, oh, that's interesting. I will get back to that when I have a second to look at it. And of course you never have a second to look at it and I forget what it is. And then I go back to it later and I'm like, why did I save this?
Yeah, I actually have to have save for letter multiple folders in my bookmarks thing, and then I laugh because I go, yeah, but when's later? I don't know when later is. And then comes a year later, I've got 500 things in that bookmark. I have no idea what they're for.
Yeah.
But we have to just go back all the time. But I think new habits are being created during these times as well.
Yeah. I know Zach Arias, he does a lot of online stuff. And then if he goes quiet for a while, a massive followers that he has, they'll start expect it. Why aren't you providing us with free stuff? Where's our free stuff? Why are you not posting all this free stuff? And it's he gets burnt out and he's just but it does. It's when you keep providing it at a steady pace, and then all of a sudden when you stop or when you've got to cool down, that expectation of where are our new videos? Why aren't you giving us new videos? And then, it's oh, okay, well, you know, I don't know, why don't you throw me a couple of bucks just to help out so I can keep making these videos, and then people will back off. So it's like, it's weird. It's interesting watching him, because he goes through these periods where he does a whole bunch of stuff, and then he's got to cool down for a little bit. And then in that interim, he gets a lot of people that are messaging him, and they're like, well, we want more. Like, we want more. Where is it all?
Sounds like he's going to structure it into a season format.
Yeah, like, or something. But it's, you know, he's like, okay, slow down, hold your horses, slow down a little bit.
Look at Peter McKinnon. I don't think anybody ever built 4 million YouTube followers faster than Peter McKinnon. I watched Peter McKinnon when he only had like 20,000 followers, and all of a sudden it says 1 million followers, and then, like, you know, 6 or 8 weeks later it's 2 million followers, and you kind of go, what? But then look what he's done. He quit his, you know, job. He's not a photographer anymore. He's a YouTuber, right?
Yes.
And the grind of doing that has got to really be taking a toll on him, because sometimes I'll go up and go to McKinnon's channel, and it's, you know, McKinnon making coffee, and and as much as I, wow, that's beautiful. Grandma's great. You go back to Grandma Kay. As much as I like Peter as a person, I don't want to sit and watch Peter make coffee. I'm sorry. It's like, no offense to anybody, but I wouldn't want to have, like, every day go and watch Sid Ceaser, puttering around in the office. And so he has to keep
suddenly you become a content generator, and you've got to create content.
Exactly. And if you can't keep it going, you lose followers really fast. It's like, oh, Peter hasn't had anything for 2 weeks, and they just move on to somebody else. Right. And he's got himself into like 3 videos a week now. Have you guys ever worked in television?
No. Video is anathema to me.
Yeah. Well, imagine that he's doing 3 videos a week where I can't think of a short sitcom, The Better Place.
Good for you guys. Fantastic one, yeah.
Yeah, that's a half an hour sitcom on cable. Mm. So no breaks they don't have to time it for commercial breaks and all that stuff. Just a half an hour show. And watch the credits at the end. How many people are involved in making a half-hour show? And here's McKinnon trying to do 3 a week. Come on, that's
I really like the late show guys now doing. Like, I've actually started watching Stephen Colbert again, just because it's adorable when he's in his house trying to figure out the technology of talking to people that aren't in studio with him. And it's him and his son, daughter, and wife basically are the crew in their house, obviously, because they're isolating. And it's just, that's got to be more than a full-time job. It's already always more than a full-time job, but with even a smaller crew, that's crazy.
Yes. And I know a guy who was a Letterman writer. He wrote for Letterman for 11 years. And you talk about pressure. Holy mackerel. They'll go in that room and write for 8 to 10 hours. They'll write material. Letterman will come in and get it, go away, he'll come back. Here's the 5 that I like. I need 5 more like that. And they write more, and it's just constant pressure. Well, when you're a one-man guy, it might sound negative, but I don't know, maybe you're not that good that you can write 3 sitcoms or things a week. It just may not be, because that's hard to do. And the writers would be happy if 2 of their jokes got used on a Letterman show. They'd be thrilled. They'd be like, oh my God, this was incredible. And yet they've written 50, 60 jokes, 2 get used. So it's
well, that's how it works with us. I mean, we shoot, hundreds and hundreds of images, and the only ones that you end up seeing are, the 1 or 2 good ones.
Yeah.
And it's crazy though. You can't keep really producing quality stuff with that kind of schedule. The first 4 days of lockdown, we were trying to do a video a day of my husband playing this it's a trio, and he was playing all 3 parts, and they were like minute long. that's all. But we had to record each part separately, then we had to bounce the track, then we had to have them play along to the, you know, to each part again, doing the editing and stuff. And it was like, it got to day 4 and I was like, I can't do this anymore.
I know.
I feel like this is all we're doing. I do not want to spend my lockdown time doing this. So we had
Being
to
a
chill
video
out.
producer, right? Yeah. Oh, I know. It's
Do you know what? It was like the whole day, basically.
One of the reasons I haven't gotten into video, and one of the things I'm really kind of embracing with this whole movement they call motion, one of the things I'm learning over this break is I'm going to learn how to do what's it called, a cinematograph.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a really nice little app that makes that pretty easy. I had to do a proposal for those.
Flixel, yeah.
I think so. Yeah, yeah. It does make it quite easy. Yeah, they're kind of fun.
Yeah. Well, they're right now they're huge.
Mm-hmm.
Right now they're huge. And one of the things that Heather said, if an ad agency comes to your website and doesn't see movement in your portfolio, they bail. And you never know it. Motion is now part of our lexicon as still photographers. We can choose to not like it, and we can choose to be all pissed off about it, but it doesn't matter. It is what it is. And so cinegraphs, stop motion, and video clips, just little clips. See if we can bring up.
That's something
Heather.
I was doing recently, actually, Don. Last weekend. Have you heard of Muse? It's I think it's a video production company based in Portland, Oregon, and they started just last week. They put the call out for filmmakers all over the world to help them with a collaborative film project about the lockdown and kind of trying to create a film together, because everyone's like in their homes, they can't go out, so
Right.
Everyone had to film like 3 scenes and then submit it, and the film's coming out on Tuesday. It should be really cool, actually. So I submitted a couple of scenes. I don't know if they'll use them, but
look at
you can make a story with just 3 scenes. It's really quite simple.
Yeah. So this is just a little 3 seconds.
Exactly.
Snip.
It's really beautiful.
It's just gorgeous, but it looks to me like it's stop motion.
Mm-hmm.
Like
yeah, it's just 3 photos.
Yeah,
3 photos, isn't it?
It's a loose frame rate for sure.
Yeah, loose frame rate. So it's really, really incredible. And something else that if I didn't share it last time, I wanted to share today is, if you guys do motion, and you put motion in your term, that's what they're talking about. Like Sid, your little, I call it claymation with stop motion, right?
Yeah.
The stuff that is now considered motion, because if you put video, the way to think of it is, if you're doing video, you've got a sound guy.
Right.
If you've got a sound guy, you're not shooting. You're a director.
Right. Right.
You cannot do not put on your website that you're a videographer. Videographers shoot
weddings.
Weddings.
Yeah, I was going to say weddings, yes.
Yeah, because then it makes you sound more like a project manager, kind of like a creative director, kind of.
You have to be a director. Even if you're shooting some of these clips like this yourself, you're still a director. And when you get the job, you become a director. You need to find a good videographer, a guy that can handle the camera and do this stuff, because all you're going to be doing is all the creative.
Right.
Otherwise, you get locked into that lower echelon where none of us want to be locked into. Anybody here going to New York to shoot fashion?
Not anytime soon.
Travis laughs.
Yeah, but Travis,
I used to, actually.
Yeah, he
that was the laugh of somebody who tried.
I got into a bunch of shows years and years ago because friends, and I was shooting for myself and for them, which made it a lot more fun. I didn't feel the pressure on it. I love the work, but man, they're not even. Milan canceled their fashion week. I don't even know what's going to go on with any of that. I can't imagine they have it this year.
Lots of problems. Fashion is to photography like football is to soccer. You know, we play on a field and that's just about it. You know, teams, it's a whole different world. But this is something that you're never told. No one will ever tell you this. I will. If one of the fashion magazines calls you to shoot back of the book, you know, flatter abs in 15 days, or, you know, how to do hair color and stuff like that, and you take the job, you ain't never going to the front of the book. You are never going to shoot editorial for them, ever. And I know somebody very intimately. I look at them right now. He's right there talking, who, when I was in New York, I took those jobs because I thought, wow, Ladies Home Journal wants me to shoot. I took a model and a hairdresser and a stylist and a whatever. And we went out to the beach near Coney Island. We shot flatter abs in 30 days. And she's doing this thing with a hula hoop. And it was fun. And I found out later, that was it. Kiss of death. I got more back of the magazine calls, but I couldn't even get in to see the people who were doing the big editorials.
So strange.
And not just at Ladies Home Journal either. Anywhere.
Why did they do that?
Because you're either an editorial photographer or you do the crap in the back.
Huh.
And it has nothing to do with the quality of your work.
It's the same with retouchers. It's like, do you do beauty or do you do product? And I'm kind of like, if it has pixels, I can retouch it. That's kind of the point. But people get locked into their ideas. And there is a difference. Like, you know, if you're a wedding shooter and somebody asks you to shoot product, you're probably, or in vice versa. Like I hate shooting weddings. I've worked with people. I worked as second shooters with people that make it look like a ballet. Like they can handle it. They do a really good job and they thrive in it. But people will lock in their thought process around you. Yeah.
When I was an art director, creative director, I wouldn't look at photographers who did weddings. And the only reason wasn't because I thought I was better than them or we were cooler than wedding shooters, was because wedding photographers never shoot to layout. They shoot to the frame.
Yep.
And you get the work back and they've shot right to that 8x12, man, it looks great. And you can't crop it at all.
No.
And I'm screwed.
No gutters.
No gutters, yeah, and I'm screwed. No one's thinking about the application of the photograph because it's just going to be in an album, and it'll be what it is. And that was the only reason, and that's the reason today. If you're a commercial shooter that does weddings, have a wedding website, because your wedding website people don't care if you shoot commercial, but have a commercial website that does not link to your wedding website, and call your wedding website something like momentsremembered.com or whatever. Don't call it your name. And if you have to refer to yourself as Spradey. I don't know. That's our lead photographer, Spradey, says. All right. Anything anybody wants to share?
So I have a little thing that
cool.
A little assignment. Well, it doesn't have to be an assignment, but so I started a few months ago.
Emmett.
I started this thing a few months ago. So I'm trying to do this thing in my area. It's not the perfect time now because everybody's stuck in their houses, but I had created this thing and it's basically hiding free art throughout the city. So I created a little thing on the back here and it's called Free Art Nashua. And then it has some rules. It says step 1, make art. Step 2, hide art. Step 3, take a photo showing where the art can be found. And then hashtag. So I made little tiny prints, and like we've got, Mario characters, and we've got Michael Jackson toys, and like all kinds of stuff. And the last time I did an order through White House Custom Color, I just ordered a bunch of little tiny prints. I think they were 40 cents a piece or something like that. And I bought some clear bags, and then I just take some gaff tape, and I go out and I walk all over the city, and I just hide these in little tiny crooks, and I tape them up so that you can see it says Free Art Nashua, and then I'll Instagram it, and I'll take a picture of like me pointing at the location, so you kind of see like a doorway or you see a street or something, and then you see my finger pointing at the little art where it's been taped. And I just thought it would be kind of a cool way to maybe get people involved just a little bit. Like if you find it, you get to keep it, and if you like it, then you get a free little thing that you can hang up somewhere or stick it on your refrigerator. Cool. So it's something I've been trying. I've tried it 3 different times now. I think it's going to take a little while for it to catch on. But I don't know. It's like a little treasure hunt, and it's like you get free art. So hopefully more people will see it and maybe painters will do it, and like maybe people will just start doing all kinds of different mediums and stuff like that.
There's actually a painter in Nashville that does that with little people.
Does he? See, it's like, and it's like they're not, it's 40 cents a piece. Like, what am I going to bitch about losing 40 cents? And it's I don't know, it's just fun. So that could be something, like if you're trapped at home and you don't know what to do, it's like just find some things that you could turn into free art, and then buy some little clear bags or stick them in some sandwich bags that seal up so that they're waterproof. And then when next time you're out on your walk or something in the afternoon, just hide a few and then take a couple of pictures and
maybe put a number on the back.
Yeah.
And if you find that number, and then you have a random list of numbers. So if you find that number and it connects to that week's random number that you've pulled, that you've got all the numbers. You just pull one random that week, they come by your studio and get a headshot, or come by your studio and pick up an 11 by 14 of it.
Right.
But some way to get them to come back to you in any fashion, so that you can touch them one more time. Yeah, that's a great idea, man. I love that idea.
Yeah. So,
I want to say, what was his name? French photographer, fashion photographer, really, really famous. Nudes.
What time period?
70s, 80s. Helmut Newton.
Oh, okay.
Newton used to do something like that. He would take a lot of his prints from the darkroom and go around and just leave them in Paris and stuff, and that would have been pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Quick little aside for you. How did famous fashion photographers like Richard Avedon, Arthur Elgort, etc., keep their prints that they did for the magazines, keep their prints from falling into the hands of production assistants, strippers, not strippers like with poles, folks. Strippers were people who would align the negatives for printing. That's a job that doesn't exist anymore. But that Elgort would deliver 25 prints to Vogue magazine. It'd go down into the department, be lithographed, etc., and thrown away, right? Well, how did they keep those from being taken by the people down there, and who would then have a treasure trove of these great prints? They didn't wash them.
Oh, really?
Nope, didn't wash them.
Huh.
A little trick I learned. They look beautiful for about a week.
Oh, that's great.
Then they start looking pretty terrible.
Huh. That's interesting.
Isn't that great?
Very interesting.
Yeah.
We can't do that now.
So would they
for digital?
Yeah, I know exactly.
Would they scan them wet or?
No. You'd take the print. I'm talking black and whites. I'm not talking colors. You'd take the print. You'd take it out and wash it. Fix it, right?
Yeah.
You'd wash it for about 15 seconds to get the stink off, and that was it. And that print would stay great, but you didn't wash all the fixer out. So the fixer will start to destroy the image within a week.
That's awesome. That's so James Bondy. That's like, this message will self-destruct in 4 days.
Well, it was interesting. I got one more story. This is a true story. I was in the offices for wasn't Ladies Home Journal, it was McCall's. So in the offices for McCall's, they were seeing photographers. And I sit down and I got my little case in front of me and I'm waiting my turn. And the guy next to me is sitting there and he's kind of, nervous and twitching around and everything. So I thought I'd make him feel better. I said, "Hey, how you doing?" And everything goes, "Oh, fine." I said, "Where are you from?" He says, "From Phoenix." And I thought, "I'm from Phoenix." He said, "Where are you from?" I said, "Albuquerque." I wanted to see who this was because I didn't recognize him. And Phoenix isn't what you would call a massive market. He opens up his book to share the book with me and the guy sitting on the other side with him. And there's pictures in there from every photographer in Phoenix, including mine. He was the printer at one of the labs here.
Oh, nice.
So when the stuff would come through and it looked pretty good, he'd go, shit, I'll print one of those for me.
Wow.
I didn't bust him. I didn't. I just thought, I thought about killing him, but I didn't bust him. I just let it go. He ended up coming back to Phoenix and never did a single thing there. I let it go because you could obviously tell he did not do all those photographs. A photographer who did that photograph didn't do this photograph.
Yeah. And he wouldn't, like, if he got a job doing any of them, he wouldn't be able to recreate it.
He just figured that, you know, he had a camera and some lights and he was okay at being a photographer. He just wanted a jump start. I read in communication arts many years ago that over 35% of people carrying work in New York were carrying at least one piece that they had not done.
Oh my gosh.
Seems so pointless.
That's right.
I just can't even imagine.
No, how do you...
I gotta say, Don, if that was me, I would open up my book and be like, "Oh yeah, look at my book. You like this picture here?" and show them the exact same picture.
Well, luckily, I couldn't because I didn't have any of the same pictures in there. But models were in there that were, you know, obviously shot at the big catalog houses here, and you know the models, they're gonna know. So when the photographer goes out and starts showing his book to models, they're going to go, well, that's Sandy. You didn't shoot Sandy, you know, that type of thing. So it's crazy business. If you haven't noticed yet, it's crazy business. All right, folks. Thanks for coming out.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Good chat.
Yeah, I love your idea. We might expand it to some other parts in the world.
Yes.
If you guys are looking for anything, it just occurs to me, I'm one of a number of photographers that does on Instagram. It's run by Tamar Levine. This is a photo blog on Instagram, all one word, that has monthly prompts. So if you feel bored and want some prompts to do, or just check out how other people are doing it, check it out. We there's plenty of people outside. I think there might be 20 of us or so, mostly in LA, that do the actual prompts like officially, and then you know, everybody else is invited to follow along as well and do their own stuff. So
that's great. Thank you, sir. I got it. This is a photo blog. Yeah, cool. All right, everybody. See you next time. Hope you can join us again, Travis.
Have a good week.
Next Friday. Don't forget.
Actually, yeah, it's going to my calendar. I feel like this one was, and time is a flat circle nowadays.
Yes.
Yes. First thing I ask when I wake up, what day is this?
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Have a great
99th of March, isn't it?
Have a good week. Yeah. See you, Trav.
You said.